Okay, let me see. You guys, I'm late today. I'm sorry. Hi. I was like, I promise, I was not doing nothing. I was not just sitting around. Oh my gosh, it worked. Phew. Okay, good job. Okay, you guys, I'm so glad you're here. Oh my gosh. It was, you have no idea. Now the babies, it's like, you know how popcorn starts out like one kernel pops and then like another one pops and then another one pops. And then pretty soon the whole thing just starts going crazy. That's lambing. Yeah. Jenny got to sleep with a lamb last night that died. She was sleeping with a dead lamb. She brought it to me and it's like, it was really, it was one of these times when you're like, okay, I don't think this one got enough air. And anyhow, so she brought it and she said, I'm not sure if it's breathing. And I was like, I had just woken up and I was like, its head was like doing this, which it already was. And don't laugh. I'm trying not to laugh when I say this. But I actually was like, oh, I think it's fine. It just has shallow breath, but I could tell it was probably dead. But I just wanted to I really did. So she said, it is a sad fact of life that where there is livestock, there is dead stock. And after a while, after like losing your, I don't know, 300th lamb, you're like, it's the circle of life. I mean, you honestly, it's some, at first you get like completely broken up about it and you feel like you're terrible. Like the worst shepherd ever, right? And then you realize, wait, I think maybe it's supposed to work this way. Like some of them, there's nothing you can do. So like to pretend you're God and that there's like, you can, it's ridiculous. Anyway, you guys are like, it's so uplifting. It is going to be uplifting because guess what? Dyed more yarn. I've got a new pattern that I'm going to do. Plus we've got our knit along. It starts tomorrow. Yarnitarian. It's all things life and sometimes knitting, yarn, and fiber. All while high on Flamin Hot Cheetos and cheap American beer, baby. This is some of my yarn for the knit along tomorrow. You're like, wow, what's the theme? Does somebody wear black? Yes. I wear a lot of black. Like my heart. Not. Guys, my heart isn't black. Okay, so Sean went to that thing, you guys. He went to his cult in LA. It was good. But Sean's a man of little words. Like I can't get anything out of him. I can't get him to say anything. I'm like, I want to know. Give me the 411, like what he thinks. The good thing is he's a great student. Sean is a way better student than I am. Like I have to be honest with you. They get mad at you, right? So they get mad. They want you to be participating and listening to everything because everything does matter. It kind of does. Except, I'm just going to tell you my con. My con is that I have ADHD and I can't sit for very long. So. I'm not saying it's working with them. So then I am in the back and like when someone would be droning on it, one of the things I can't listen to somebody tell me how altruistic they are by like, doing things like taking care of their mom for like, the last 20 years and they're just so selfless. And, they wanted to give their children an opportunity to, see these things and, be able to spend this time. And that's why I'm not as successful as I should be, right? Blaming it on their mother that they decided to take care of. I can't. So like, I get the part where, somebody's doing something for somebody, but then don't blame why your life didn't pan out the way it was supposed to because you were being quote unquote altruistic. It's like, I had this friend that used to do that Secret Santa thing. I don't even know what it's called. Whether you go and you put money in somebody's pocket, like in Kmart or something, and then they buy that shirt. Actually, my son was a recipient of that once, by the way. There was $80 in a shirt pocket. Anyhow, Jane is like the luckiest kid, I'm telling you, except for having me as a mother. Anyway, but then she would go tell everybody. And I'm like, okay, that kind of like the spirit of it is now ruined. For all of you who actually do that, and talk about it, I'm not judging you. It's just, I wouldn't do it. If I was going to do selfless things, you're like, you would never do that. No, I actually have done selfless things and I don't talk about them. I don't tell people. You're like, you tell people about everything. You tell us all about your sex life. Your husband's penis. Yes, I do. Because it's impressive. I'm just saying. Okay. So you guys, totally upbeat because I am going to talk really about knitting because I am so on this sweater. I'm so on this sweater. Not the Junko one. I can't until I want Roberta, my friend Roberta. I'm going to make her come over here and we're just going to go over the entire pattern and I'm going to force her to probably spend 1 week here with me and just knit it next to me side by side. This one's simple though. It's not. But it's fitted. This one that I want to do is fitted, and which I actually wear a lot of fitted things, so I like that. Hi everybody. Oh my gosh, Diana and Jan and Christine and Catherine Rainey. My God, you made it. And Susie Q. And LR. Hi, Natalie. Linda from PA. Nice to see you. Phineas Pratt. Hi, Phineas Pratt. Thinking about, you lost connection? Refresh. Catherine, it's obviously something going on with your internet. I don't think it's mine. Of course, it's never me, right? It's only Jenny. And so then Jenny, she's in there. She's here. So this lamb, we have this bottle of lamb. And I go in there and she's handballing my yarn with the lamb in diapers sleeping next to her feet. Now, Jenny's a flight attendant. So, like, it was like this picture, like, I wanted so bad if I had my phone, it would have been the most perfect thing to put on, like, Instagram. Because Jenny doesn't knit, but I asked her to finish handballing this yarn for me because I was trying to, like, get in some last-minute shearing and last-minute delousing. Because this thing, you keep pushing your delousing, and if they get lice, then you have to, the fleece is ruined. So it's like, really, you can't push it, and I've been pushing it. I'm pushing it because I keep having other things interfere. Anyway, I told her to take the lamb with her to Huntington Beach, to her condo. I was like, you need to tell people it's a barkless dog. I didn't say it didn't make vocalizations, Ma. I said it didn't bark. No, but I'm serious. I think she's going to. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, she's way better about the schedule. That, like, she's, when you're a mother of 5, you're not super great about schedules. I'm just going to be honest. Like, the feeding thing, Jenny's like, this thing is just getting fat fast. Because Jenny she'll get up, like, yesterday, her eyes, it looked like, have you ever seen that they're like crazy? My husband calls them crazy chicks. Like, if they're on porn, their eyes are like, the whites of their eyes are, you can see the whites of their eyes the whole way around. Their eyes are like, Jenny's eyes were like that yesterday because Sean went to the LA forum. And then, so I met him on Sunday night in Huntington Beach, and she was like, and because Jenny's got her condo, it's her condo, and it has a fireplace, and it's like totally clean. I walk outside, my shoes don't get dirty. It's awesome. It's like, a mile and a half or 2 miles from the beach. It's like it's just right smack dab. Like Starbucks is like a I don't know, I want to say a block and a half away. You couldn't. I'm so ecstatic to be there. And she's like, Natalie, you and your husband never get to take any time together, because I don't remember the last time we spent, stayed together and not had, like, either all of our children or, half of our children, and that we just never have. We haven't done that. I don't think farmers ever do that. I don't think, taking time with your spouse away it doesn't happen, because somebody has to watch farm, right? But Jenny's watching it, and she's, she took animal science classes with me because that was her major at Cal Poly. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And so she's like, I just want you to take your time because you guys never get to do this. It's going to be great for you. You guys can go to dinner, and then you can get up late, and then, you can come here. It'll just be great. You got all your packages sent out. You had this whirlwind because you had stitches last weekend, and then you had the week before you had the forum, and like, this is just great. Now your husband, you can see each other. So then, so I leave at like 5 o'clock at night on Sunday. At 9 o'clock in the morning, I actually got this text, and it was like, and Jenny was like telling the people, the Airbnb people, at first I was like, Natalie, I really want you to stay. And then I was like, Natalie, get your ass home quickly. Because everything, like, the things are being boarded and people are checking in. And like all the laundry. And she's like, so when I saw her, so I wasn't even gone, you guys, 24 hours. I wasn't even gone 24 hours. I come back here, her eyes, like, I'm not crazy eyes. She had crazy eyes. She's like, I've had 1 hour of sleep. She's like, I've had 1 hour of sleep. I had only 1 hour of sleep. It was bad. And then last night, I didn't finish working outside till 10:43. 10:43 at night, not in the morning, 10:43 at night. 10:43 at night, and I come in, and she had crazy eyes, and I was like, okay, and I ran in with this lamb, and I was like, this lamb, I don't know if it's going to make it, but if it's going to make it, this is what we got to do. So we started, putting pump colostrum in it, and, started doing everything that we could possibly do to warm it up, and, and then I was like, you're going to have to sleep with it. And she's like, I'll take one for the team, I'll sleep with it. And I was like, and then you're going to have to wake up like every 2 hours, every, 2 to 4 hours, and give it colostrum. She's like, okay, I'll do it. And I was like, real seriously, guys. And so she got no sleep again. Poor girl. So I think it's been 48 hours, and I think she had like 4 hours of sleep. I feel rested. I'm just going to say that because I got to sleep in Huntington Beach the night before. It's mean, isn't it? I almost got my glasses. Okay. Anyway, what do you guys think? Okay. Trishy Spins and Allison Blair and Valerie. And then Julia, Teresa, Kelly, Twisted Mom Yarn, and Jane, South Minnesota, and Mary Holmes from Kentucky, and Amber and Tony. Hey, you guys. So anyway, that's my story on that. So I was thinking about this, you know, because Tricia and I were talking the other day on the phone. The other day, it was like yesterday, or might have been the day before. It doesn't matter. Anyway, like, I was thinking, because, you know, I really want to talk a lot about fiber, but my whole life actually is fiber. Like, literally, like, I was thinking about that today. Everything that I have done today, like, I knit a swatch, because I was, you know, and I dyed more yarn, and I tried to make, you know, I made, now it's a gradient, but then I put yarns in it like a fade, but you won't be able to see it. You're like, we won't be able to see it. Why? Because you didn't do it? No, you won't be able to see it because it's dark. It's really dark. But, so, and because I don't like to wear like color next to my face, really. It's not that I don't sometimes like I'll wear a red shirt, but for the most part, like patterns, I might wear some color, but I won't wear usually patterns. Anyway, so it's like hard for me to, you know, get into this idea of like knitting this thing, and then, you know, and wanting to be really creative and put really super, you know, pretty yarns and do this, you know, ones that I think are really beautiful, but I just would never wear it. Like, I think they're beautiful, but I don't want to, and I would like knitting it, but then I'd go to put it near my face, and I'd go, okay, that was a tremendous waste of time, because I do want to dye the entire thing black. That actually is what I would do. I would probably over dye it after it was knit. So then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make all these swatches, and I'm gonna do I'm gonna like do this fade, but then to do the fade, then it's gonna take up too much room on the swatch. The swatch no longer will be. It will be. So then I was like, okay, I think I'm just gonna have to I'm going to have to just jump into it. I'm just going to have to do it, but I'm going to actually write a chart. I'm going to write a chart and do like color A, color B, color, and then how many, you know, and then when it repeats, so I'm going to be working with like probably 4 or 5 different yarns, and then be able to mark it off, like actually make a chart. Otherwise I won't be able to keep track of how many rows of each to actually fade into the. And that might be ambitious, because I think there's not enough riddle in the world that can make me keep track of all those yarns. So I'm just saying I'm going to do that in my mind. That doesn't mean I'm actually going to do it. Anyway, though, it doesn't matter. So the point is that you guys, like my whole, like from the moment I get up in the morning till then going to bed, like at I think it was 12 o'clock last night, and my husband made me a salad that had been waiting for me. It had steak and salad in it, and it was like 12 o'clock by the time I got to the salad, and I just like was stabbing not the lettuce part. I was just taking the meat, and I was just shoving the meat in my face with this is not going to shock a lot of people, peanut M&Ms and red vines. I didn't want the lettuce. I was into sugar and meat. That's what, and alcohol. You can never leave out alcohol ever. Okay, moving on. Now, okay. So, and Liz, and Trishy says she's trying to knit and listen, but she's attempting color work and she messed up her first try. And then she made her question from work backwards. Oh my God, that's so frustrating. Hi from Black Hills of South Dakota, like Black Hills Gold. Hello, Deanne. Hi, Deanne, and you're listening and getting ready for Fiber Festival this weekend. That's so exciting, I think. I'm not sure. I hope you're excited, because I wouldn't do it if I wasn't excited. And then Tony just got my first locks from me, terrified of. You won't ruin them. Just be brave. Just be brave. Yeah, it's hard to ruin them. It really is. And then Gentry 1753. Hi. And Melanie Smith. Never tell Spin it's gorgeous. Never. What's never? I'm the overdye queen. I've been overdying all my old stash to make it brand new again. That's so cool. And then Catherine saying she does it too. And then Tony says that Procam's where she lives. That's totally cool. You don't have to pay shipping. I use a lot of Procam dyes, tons of Procam dyes. What I do, you know, because I like the last. So when I was in Huntington Beach, I went to. There's a lot of Goodwills there. So I went to a Goodwill on Friday, and then I went to a Goodwill on Monday, Friday and Monday. And I'm just gonna say for the record, like I just feel like I score so much. The thing I hate, because I'll look for silk, and then I'll like, you know, do on laboriate, like silk shirts and things. But the problem is that a lot of the time the thread is done with polyester. So then it's not, oh my God. And then I was watching, like I wasn't watching, but I was getting ready. And there was this thing on television, and it was, what is that channel? It's the channel 193 for me. And it's oddly enough, not porn this time. It's like about where they like, not investigation discovery, but it's like things that are like the unknown things, or like, you know, where they are, you know, how are things are made, one of those channels. I can't remember what the hell it's called. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But what does matter is that they had dogs in India, and they were talking about, they're blue. They're blue, and like like actually like light blue, like sea breeze, not to saturation, all right? And so, of course, I'm like, okay, so the dog's in India. The minute they say India, well, I could have told you the dog was in India just by just the hustle and bustle. I'm like, okay, well, this is a big textile industry. There's this cottage industry in India where they're dyeing a lot of silk. Hello, it's protein, fiber dyes. I mean, my dogs look like that all the time. Granted, they're not completely, the entire thing is not like light blue. But they have like, right now, there's grasshopper and key lime and rhodamine on Jane. I'm dead serious. And people are like, why are these markings on this dog that are being yours? I'm like, well, she's special. I say she's special. And then I say, she likes to lay in the dye. That's what makes her special. I just think anyway. So, I mean, and then I have a Pyrenees that's white, a Great Pyrenees. And she likes to lay on one side because she had that TPLO surgery. And I think, it still bothers her a little bit. And so anyway, she's always got dye on her fleece. And once again, I'm going to say, granted, it wasn't like somebody dumped it into a vat of dye. My dogs, it's like piecemeal, it's like pieces and parts of them, because I do dye outside. And then my runoff's outside. But anyway, in India, like I said, it's a cottage industry, so it's different. It's not like they're doing it cottage, meaning it's like in the garages and stuff. It's like that's the bulk of all essentially. It's not super industrialized. It's all cottage industry, the fiber art stuff there. So anyway, that I was like, and they were trying to, at first they were like, is it colloidal silver? Because colloidal silver can turn you like, it can make you like gray, right? Your skin. There's a lot of people that use colloidal silver. I'm not one of them because of that. But people say that it's got these, antibacterial properties, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a guy, they put a picture of him on this channel, and he was completely, his face was like metallic. It looked like the Tin Man. I'm not even lying. He looked like the Tin Man, and he had a white beard, so it looked really weird, and he had blue eyes. It was just a whole creepy looking thing. And, it wasn't colloidal silver. I don't even know what they said it was. I'm telling you what it is. And I'm that confident. I'm that confident because they actually they were saying it couldn't be the way that it couldn't possibly be that it was growing out from the follicles that color, obviously. Hello. Because even the guy who had the colloidal silver, his beard and everything was white. It was his skin that was silver. He looked like the Tin Man. And a cross between the Tin Man and Saint Nick. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm reading up. She left out alcohol. Wait, never leave out alcohol. That's funny. That's very funny. Let's see. Shannon Graber. And then Deanne says she's taking 10 ladies with us and they're having a retreat while we work. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I love when they leave these, it says, I'm speckling a glazing whore. I love that you guys, if you write something naughty, one of my favorite things to do, you guys, you should do it, is like totally text someone through Siri, but like your significant other, like a sext, and then see what she returns. Because, she then reads back to what she thinks you're saying. And I really try to slow it down. But it's bad. Even if you're not trying, and now I think, I'm not sure, I could be wrong about this, but I think because a lot of my texts are sexts, that she thinks that because this did happen, I went to, I'm talking and I'm sending one to Dane, actually, because I needed him to like clean one of the stalls and there were a bunch of things I needed him to do. You're like, so nice to be your kid, isn't it? Not. And when she read it back to me, it actually sounded like it was like a completely inappropriate text for your son. So I'm thinking that they get your language and the things that you're saying. Yes. Okay. So Trisha, what they held for review was, I'm a speckling and glazing whore. I love her. And then Jan says, I received my wool just well. I hope it was good. I try. And then Jan says, oh wow, I want to dye my dog. Okay, then that PETA's going to be all over that shit. Probably natural dyes there, though. And no, they use that. They do use. I mean, I'm not saying they don't use natural dyes. I'm saying that they definitely 1,000% use the acid dyes on the protein fibers, for sure, for sure. Because they do all that sorry silk. Let's see. My granddaughter's dyed my dog's ears pink. That's cute. And Valerie says the heart. Oh my God, Melanie said, yeah, some places will rest or take your animal if you do. It's basically just food coloring. That's silly. And then they actually, did you guys see the picture of some guy? Apparently, I don't know if it was photoshopped. It could have been photoshopped, but people were stealing sheep, so he did that. And then Kelly says, I think I want to come to one of your retreats and just go to Goodwill with you. It's so fun. You guys, and I'm telling you, I'm in a hub. I mean, Temecula has 2, but you have to understand, LA is an hour and 15 minutes from me. And it's northwest of me, and San Diego is southwest of me by an hour, 45 minutes. So I'm just telling you for the record, like, it's like, there are so many, it's unbelievable. And then Christine says, that's okay, Tricia, I'm a wool horse too, and they held hers for review. I don't think I put in there profanity, I'm not sure. And Nancy, hi Nancy, it's so good to see you, it's so good to see you. It really it is, except I actually can't see you, you're like, that's not me. And then, okay, so, and Valerie says, I'm so happy to see and hear you. Oh, thanks so much. And I'm really, like, I'm so, you guys, I'm working really hard. Like, I'm not making any excuses. I mean, something must have taken hold. Actually, I got irritated, because you still have all your buttons, by the way. I'm just letting you know. 3 days is not going to fix your buttons. It just makes you profoundly aware of all of the behaviors that you do in the lies that you tell yourself and other people, not on purpose, about your behavior. But anyway, I got slightly irritated with my husband on Sunday night, and a lot of it was because to get out of here, it was very difficult on Sunday, and then I had to drive it ended up to be 2 hours to where he was in LA. And I just, when I get pissed off, I just want to bail out. I just want to be like, I'm out. And just like, I just want to literally leave wherever I am. I want to leave so that I don't throttle or throat punch someone, as Jan would say. I love that throat throttle. I love when she says that. And I was going to throat throttle him, and she would. And anyway, and we're in different cars, actually, which makes my freedom, I have a lot of freedom because I got my truck. He's got the Audi. And so, we're like, he's like 2 minutes behind me on the 405. And because he went to this thing and we were just leaving it, he's like, well, the old Natalie would leave. That would be what you do actually do. But the new Natalie wouldn't do that. And I actually didn't leave. I didn't bail out. But I was pissed off for a couple hours. I was mean. I was a little mean. But you know what? It's just my personality. It's just the way it is. You're like, okay, that's a story. That's a racket. That's a racket. But I think the coolest thing is that it's like so neat to understand that you're just full of shit. We're all just full of shit. I'm dead serious. We're just all full of shit. It's the coolest thing to just get it, because before you're defensive about not being, I am not full of shit. I am not. And I am right a lot. And then you realize, no, actually, I'm wrong a lot, and I'm just full of shit. Like, it's really actually empowering. I'm serious. Like, no more, like, worrying about control because you don't have any. I mean, ultimately, we don't. So this guy comes. His name's Julian. And I didn't know what to expect because he called me about sheep. I don't sell sheep normally, except to my Muslim guy, right? But I'm going to have, hundreds of lambs. So, and he was interested in having lambs. And I really, this whole thing about, like, chipping away at people hating wool, one human being at a time. And, like, I'm going to do these Airbnb experiences this entire, like, I'm going to start at the end of March all the way through August. I'm going to be very busy doing those because I am going to, do my part for agriculture and for wool and animal protein fibers. I'm dead serious. Anyway, so he says, so how much notice do I have to give you before I bring my girls? Because he has, I don't know how old his children are, but he wants to buy sheep for his daughters. And so I said, just let me know. And I don't know. I can't tell you because I don't know what you're talking about. So I just let me know and I'll see if I can do it. I don't know. He goes, well, how about today? And I was like, well, actually, because I had to shear, I had all these things to do. And then anyway, and this, right? But I said, okay, that's fine. 4 o'clock, but we got to be done pretty lickety split. Anyway, so he brings his daughters, and he's a really tall guy, and he's probably a little bit younger than me, but his kids are pretty, maybe only a year or two younger than me, but his children are pretty young. I mean, I want to say one is like 7 and one is like maybe 9, 8. And anyway, so he looks at me and he goes, it's so funny. He's like, so my wife and I talked about it, and we really want our daughters to raise something like sheep because it's going to make them more compassionate. The responsibility, and he's going on, and my eyes just start to fog over because, of course, I know because I've had 5 children, right, that I'm thinking if Jeffrey Dahmer's mother had only bought him a sheep, like, I'm sure he would have been more compassionate, right? I mean, there's a right like a lot of what we have of who we are is, you know, our biology, right? But then, so I've come in the house and I'm talking to Jenny, and Jenny, I tell Jenny, yeah, and I repeat what I just said to you. And I said, this is what he said. And then I said, and I'm looking at him going, and I just fog over. I said, I'm looking at him going, yeah, yeah. And she's like, well, what? Like, I'm some big pessimist. She's like, well, I mean, don't you think that, like, you know, having animals can help people be more compassionate? I'm like, I'm more stuck on the part where they're going to take care of them. Because you and I both know who's going to take, and she just starts laughing. Because it's true. I mean, in the Midwest, there are parents that I know would make, oh, hi, baby. Nice dog. I bet you, like, he probably bailed out of his second floor window just to see me, this dog. Anyway, but, you know, in the Midwest, but I got to be honest with you, we're talking about Southern California, baby. These parents, I mean, these kids are in, like, these private school uniforms. They're, like, totally, like, pressed. Okay, it's not that my kids have never went to private school. Connery graduated from a very prestigious private school in Calabasas, or in Carlsbad. But this is the thing, is that they had laundry service where they pressed all their stuff. Like, their stuff didn't get pressed by them, I guarantee it. And that wasn't permanent press. So we're talking about, like, the chances of these children taking care of these sheep is loving them, yes. Taking care of them, no. Parents take care. My daughter's lizard, she takes care of. I will tell you that. Okay. I'm reading. South Dakota loves wool, and we eat beef. I love beef. I'm a beef girl. I eat a lot of beef. Eat beef, love wool. Oh my God, that's such a great slogan. I might have to steal it. And then Shannon says, so does this person in Washington. Yes. FFA is big here. Yes. And actually, the good thing is, before, you guys, I used to have, you know, because I have long wool sheep, and they don't do well at fairs. Let's just be straight. I mean, there are Cotswolds that can, you know, compete, and then, but they're, you know, but the Corriedale actually are great sheep. I mean, I picked up one lamb that's never been, like, held except for being, you know, vaccinated and having its tail docked. And it's probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks old, I don't know. And the girl's holding it like this, and the lamb actually looks like I like hit it over the head with something, because it has a big pink blotch on its head to tell me that I vaccinated it, right? And also because it was like literally like this. It was just like, its head was just like completely limp, and its legs. I said, and when he took pictures of it, I was like, your wife is going to think that, like, I tranquilized this, or like it's dead, because it didn't even move. That's my dog. If you want to know what all the noise is. Do you guys want to see him? He's so sexy. Everybody's going to want one. He's the perfect canine specimen. I mean, there is no dog that is better looking than this dog. So everybody who has show dogs, got nothing on my Scrappy. Ugh. Perfect canine specimen. Check it out. Whoa. I almost dropped him. You guys are like, we would have called the SPCA. Shh. Look at him. Perfect. He knows the pose. Okay. Yes. You guys, whoops. Whoop. Is that something? Look at this. Look at that tail. Hot. Smoking hot dog. He's very special. He really is. Part human, part dog. I mean, this dog, literally, I put him under the covers. I grab him like he's like a sack of potatoes. I lift up the covers like this. I shove him in like this, and I go, this is we spoon. And I see if I go. Whatever I want to do to him, he doesn't care. He's like, I love you, Mommy. His breath tastes like roast beef. Maybe a slight onion taste. Very light on the garlic. Yeah, I've only had worms 3 times. Just kidding. I've never had worms. You guys are like, whoa, you're a real cut up. Okay, I'm going to talk about fiber. Don't worry. Oh, he's perfect. He is his name. And then Melanie saying, ooh, the word polyester makes me cringe. Me too. And then Vienne says, yes, the mom takes care of all the animals. It's true. Minus 10 degrees, yuck. And she said, Trishy says that Nat has a lot of work cut out for her because people think polyester is a good idea, and sheep should look like Shrek. It's terrible. It is terrible. It is terrible because, you know, we, once again, but, you know, there are people even that I know that are veterinarians in England that think that these sheep shed. These are not shedding sheep, only if they have wool break. So it'll just keep growing. Look up Shrek. Perfect example. You know, fine wool sheep that, you know, got away from the shearer, apparently, like out on the range. I don't know much about the story, but I think it was like 60 pounds of wool, wasn't it? It was like 60 pounds. It was ridiculous. 6 years, like, yeah, 10 pounds, that would be right, 60 pounds. About 60 pounds of wool. It's a lot of wool. I mean, and, you know, they should only have like a staple of like that in a year. So imagine, I mean, and he was like, it looked like his staple. It was crazy. And when they get wool break bad, it looks like they've went through chemotherapy. I'm not lying. I've had them where their skin was so smooth, like, so, I have more hair on my face than they have on them. I'm not kidding. When they've gotten really sick. It's happened, it's been that smooth. It's happened one time on a Gotland that had barber pole, and then another time on a lamb that got pneumonia. Stop it! He's like, what he's looking for right now is feet. Because when I shear them, you're like, how many times are you going to stutter? A lot. Isn't it a stammer? See, a stammer is different than a stutter, right? It's a stammer. So when I shear them, I then I trim their hooves. And especially they're particularly ripe right now because it's really muddy here. I think the last time we had this much rain was when I first moved here in 1997, and that was El Nino. It might have been I moved here in 97, December, so El Nino might have been December or January of 98. It's possible, but whatever. I mean, it literally looked like a Civil War reenactment where there were, but for gophers, they were the ones that were at war. Anyway, you'd walk out and there were just, it was like everywhere you looked was a dead gopher. No one had lived here for a while. I'm serious, and so that's what the gophers had like overtaken. Yeah, it was gross. It was really sick. You guys, I love how I keep dropping my glasses. Okay, see. Lucky Brand is marketing Shrek as a shearless sheep. Valerie's saying, okay, Valerie, thank you. She's saying, it breaks my heart. Do you think we could make a difference if we could educate the right people? No, Valerie, I'm telling you, I'll just tell you, this is not, I'm not trying to act, I am not, first of all, I always think, I'm going to tell you a story. You're like, please don't. I'm going to. Here we go. I've talked about a lot of time my friend, Susan Marsh, because she was a 4-H leader for all of Riverside County, which Riverside is very big. You know, every place in Southern California is very populated, right? And so I was part of 4-H, you know, as I'm still am a leader. And then my son, Connery, also, he had voting rights because he had done stuff for 4-H. He had like done the camps, like, anyway, like, what is it, Guardian or whatever. And so, Susan, my son, is very self-centered. Connery is. He's now, at the time, I want to say it was like 22, so he was even more self-centered than he is now at 27. And there were people that had been in their positions in the 4-H for like way too long. I'm talking like career politician type people where they were getting their crony friends in, and it wasn't. Susan's whole thing is about the kids. Like, I am telling you, talk about a throwdown bitch for kids. Susan Marsh, she's fostered 25 children, and in addition, her whole life is about servitude and volunteering. She's such an inspiration. I love this woman. And she is like, will throat punch you. I mean, she's like Jan, but rougher. And anyhow, so she tells, she's like, you know, the only way, and she keeps, you know, she's like really open about it. She's like, the only way that we can change and make 4-H better for the children is we need to get these career people out because they make money. They're making money, right, from the UC Riverside, right? It's a UC system that runs it. So anyway, she tells me, okay, we need Connery, we need everybody who has voting rights to go and vote so that these people, because nothing's changed in like the last 15 years because the same people are in it, and they're just like, one lady actually lived in like Maryland and is a salaried person and extraordinarily important and like shows up to Riverside. I can't even tell you how infrequently. I was getting so pissed off as I was hearing about all of this, and plus I've had to deal with them and I knew nothing was changing. I was so mad. So anyway, she was like, please get Connery to go. And I was like, well, I'll do my best, but I can't. So anyway, I did, I told Connery, come on, you need to do this. And he wasn't, he was like, I really don't want to. I've got other things to do. And I was like, Connery, and I said, and I don't know, whatever it was, I actually got him to go. And so he goes, and I'm so irritated. We're sitting there, and it's like, the meeting or whatever goes on for like an hour. So then we vote. So it was like a couple days later, I get a message from Susan. The people, the specific one that was the worst, was outed by one vote. That would have been Connery's. I know you could have said it was anyone's, but I could barely get that man to go. I literally, and he actually made that difference. So this idea of being and I know, like, it seems like a very stupid example, but it actually isn't, because it actually imprinted Connery deeply. That he thought it was just stupid for him to go. And had he not went, then it still would have been another, it was never ending, and they could never get them out. And once they got that person out, it's like the house of cards started to fall. And then, all of those positions changed within 2 years, because they couldn't be held up by, having like a force of several. So anyway, I think that one reason that I can make a difference is because I live in Southern California, and it's a hub. And this has hurt me. It hurt me at first in the fiber industry that I don't look like I'm actually a shepherd. I look like I'm from Southern California. And so, which not really, because when I was at the forum, this girl who looks totally Southern California, and is totally Southern California, so what does that look like? That looks like, filler and Botox, and, dressed kind of like I do, but their brows are totally like completely done, and like their nails are, everything's perfect. Everything's perfect. I don't do that. I can't do my nails. My eyebrows are off limits. There's things, like there is a threshold that I won't cross, right? And so you're like, really? Anyway, and so she goes, God, Natalie, you're so pretty. She's younger than me. She goes, you're so pretty, but I just want to take it. I just want to fix your brows, right? It's like a big thing for people. Like for someone that does their brows, it really bothers them. My brows really bug them. Because it doesn't, and I understand, because I'm so used to seeing people with Botox that when I see people like that are commentators on TV don't have Botox, I'm like, if she'd be so pretty if she'd just get Botox, because I'm just not used to seeing people's face move. I'm really serious about that. What was my point? Oh, because when you look more like them, but know, right? But actually know about wool, and but they're like, they think you're speaking to them because you're familiar. That's part of it's fairly easy for me to already have them believe me, but plus I have degrees in animal science. That's also helpful. I hate to say that, because I don't believe degrees are necessary. I have, as I said, friends with the 10th grade education, and they're smarter than I am. Doesn't mean that they're, obviously that they know more about certain things, but they know more about certain things than I do. Right? Because the practical application of things is very vitally important. Let's just try and do medical, like literally like surgery with just theory, right? You might actually want to try it first, right? Yeah. So anyway, so that's the thing, is that because, Temecula is a destination that has the, biggest Indian casino in the United States, and it's got 7 or 10 PGA PGA golf courses, and it's the winery, and they're putting in 40 new wineries. It's never not busy. It's never not busy. Temecula is it's insane how busy this place is. And then they've got the wine and balloon festivals. They've got, they've got like the rod run. Whoever it is that made Temecula like get busy with everything was awesome. It was just a bunch of people, I think, that really cared about, the tourism in Temecula, and they've done a bang up job. When I moved here, there was like a little tiny old town, and there was nothing else, which was, and there was no wine country, there was no nothing. But so the point is that, we have to start somewhere. People have to start. But even when I saw, I said, it's someone like Claire Parks, people that are very big in the knitting industry, or like the crochet industry, people that are well known, or like, Franklin Habit, it's up to, and when I was at Stitches, that's part of what I was doing too, is I was saying, hey, by the way, like, this is what the people that I know that tweeted about, I was like, hey, I just want you to know this is really important. Like, we've been asleep. Like, farmers have been asleep. We should be ashamed of ourselves. We were just thinking, oh, that's just a bunch of liberal wackos that are talking about how they hate wool. Okay, no. No, that's not true. That's not true. Like, while we were asleep, they were actually making headway because nobody was defending wool and animal protein fibers. I mean, that's a lot of it is our fault. But also, who's kind of, the hard part is that the people that are the type of people that really would grab onto something that's like that well, let's just hate wool without investigating it. Those are the type of people that probably wouldn't believe a lot of people from the Midwest. Because, it's like there's just stereotypes. People, it's evil and it's bad, but everybody stereotypes. We all judge. It's just the fact. We just all judge. So, that's the other part of this, whole forum thing that I really get is that, we have our stories about another person in our head made up. And it's like someone could have a story about the name or someone named Natalie because they met someone named Natalie that they, didn't like. And so now they meet this Natalie, and they instantly don't like me because they have this story in their head, right? It's sort of the same thing. We make up our stories in our head. It doesn't mean it's right. It's just we all do it, and we all should just, fess up to it and understand that, it's the way it is, right? It's not good, and we should try to break ourselves of it. But the fact of the matter is, we have to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere, and everybody needs to start doing it. And I don't, okay, I'm going to tell you this too. So Allison LaFane, you'll see her on her. She's the person that I've known since grammar school, since elementary school. And so she introduced me to this guy that he works like that. Somehow it's connected to the oil industry, but the guy that is his boss owns like the biggest cattle ranch in somewhere in the Midwest, huge, and started like a charity for basically the preservation of agriculture and animal products essentially. And so there was this thing, this was Proposition 12, you guys should look it up, in California that was going through. And so he did like a GoFundMe to get people to pay attention to Prop 12 in California, because it was going to affect all of the farms that are selling to California, the way that they raise their animals. Like there's going to be all of these and you look at it, the regulations, you're just going to be like, it's going to really be difficult for people in the Midwest. And so the guy's name is Sean, that she we did a 3-way call. And then Sean said to me, so we did this thing, asking California farmers and ranchers, etc., so that they could, help raise money to combat the lobbyists, right? And he said, how much do you think we made? And I actually had no idea, but I was thinking maybe, I don't know, a few $100,000, because I'm sure that the other ones, I think he said 10 million. They raised like 10 million or something. It was ridiculous how much the people against animal products raised. And I just finally was like, okay, I don't know how much. He was like $25. $25. Okay, so the point is that, like, if we're going to do shit like that, then you wait, because pretty soon it'll be like you're wearing wool or Ugg boots and then you get spray painted. You think I'm ridiculous, and I'm not. If you think people want to get rid of cows because of methane, sheep are next, baby, because all ruminants create gas. They get their energy through microbial fermentation. They are one big fermenting vat, the rumen. So belching and, passing gas is all part of it. And if you really want to eradicate wool, well, then start going after the fact that they're creating gas. I mean, it's like a double hitter. Not only is it cruel about the wool, but now it's ruining the environment because of gas. Well, if we're going to do that, then we should eliminate a lot of men. Lol. Benjamin Franklin wouldn't like that, by the way, because I want to say, and this is not, I don't know this for fact, to be fact, so that's a caveat. But Dean did say something about, or did I read it somewhere? I think I read it somewhere. I can't remember, that Benjamin Franklin thought that we should all just pass as much gas as possible because it's really good for us. And I was like, decorum, Benjamin. I wouldn't be inviting you over for dinner. Okay, anyway, mohair's been banned by major designers, and then fake meat too makes me gag thinking of it. Me too. Hi, Kristen. Gorgeous, beautiful, luster, curly mohair, yes. And love mohair and Angora rabbit too, yes. And mohair, unbelievable. Patty Van Gord, I'm stammering tonight, said question mark mohair, and it is because they caught somebody in South Africa, no less. So now they're banning. It's like we were second in the world for mohair production. I want to say we're third or fourth now. I can't. Don't quote me on that. You're like, do you have any facts that you're going to stand behind? No, I don't. Yes, I'll be there tomorrow on Reading Method. This is a fact I'll stand behind. I'm going to be at Reading Method, facebook.com/groups/Reading Method tomorrow for our first part of our knit along. So we're just going to cast on. I'm not teaching you guys to cast on because we already went through that. So we're just going to cast on and do it. We're just going to do our thing. So those people that want to start the knit along tomorrow, because I have done all of the parts where I first did the dye along, then I did the knit along, and I mean not a knit along, but then the tutorial. These are the tutorials. So I did the dye along, then I did the tutorial on knitting, and then I did, which I'm granted it was not amazing, and then I did the spinning one. And I just want you to know that I know that Trishy probably didn't like any of them, because Trishy, like, if I just give information but I don't like tell stories, and she's like, yeah, I mean, it was all right, you know, the information was good, I mean, you didn't, but you know, because Trishy, like, she like loves me to be Natalie, but I'm trying to like hit you guys hard with the information so that you're not there for 3 hours. Right? I'm like, Trisha, you love me. You want to hear me for 3 hours. It's a little different. Like, some people just want the information. They want to grab and run. Do you hear babies crying? I do. And then Allison saying, yay, knit along. And then Vian says, I've been watching the PETA craziness. Just had this conversation with a few farmers. Yes. Elaine, a lot of people, that would be better. I agree. I agree. And then Melanie says, we had PETA put ads in our airport in a beef state with a cattle asking not to be killed. Pissed off so many airport, lost 40% of the business. I would bet money that PETA was started by a plastic industry person. That's so interesting. PETA is a dangerous to many animal-based. Oh, yeah, of course, yes. And then Catherine says, why, Tricia, I don't get it. She was saying, oh, yes. And then because PETA did what they do and no one hit back. That's right. Nobody ever says anything back. No, PETA's still talking about mulesing. And we don't even, in the United States, I mean, how many sheep breeds actually have that, you guys? Like, Merino, maybe Cormo? I'm just guessing Merino, and Merino's the main, I mean, you would never do that to a long wool. And it's outlawed in most countries anyway. I think I've said this, and here's another fact I'm not going to stand behind. I think in Australia it's highly discouraged, but it's not outlawed. Anyway, in the United States it's outlawed, and in the UK it's outlawed, I think. And I do agree with you, Shannon, about getting rid of a lot of people. Banned mohair, yes, banned mohair, can you believe it? And then I guess, and then Vian saying the knit along. I'm excited about this. And then, hi Sharon, this is a cause that I could join with you in a heartbeat. Let me know if you ever need it. Oh yeah, yes, definitely. Preserving agriculture is really important. I mean, obviously, I mean, you're like, oh, wow, Natalie, you're so smart. No, it is, because no food, no solvent country. That's just the way it is. And I'm sorry, but if let's just say we eliminated all animal products, first of all, what happens to all the domesticated animals? Because they rely on us to take care of them, and for us to take care of them, we must be able to afford to take care of them. Right? But let's just get rid of, then there would be some weird thing that people would start like saying, I mean, I'm not kidding you. They'd be like, well, there are certain, there's a hierarchy in the plant kingdom where certain plants have feelings. I'm not kidding you. Look at a Venus flytrap. I mean, it obviously has sensory awareness. I mean, we would start this shit where people would be like, you know, squash is a very sensitive plant. We can't eat squash anymore. It would just, this is the way people think. This is what we do. We do these things. We don't even think about the after effects. Like, this is the thing with the PETA and all these people. They're not thinking about, what do we do with the animals? Do we just shoot them and let them ashes to ashes, dust to dust? Do we burn them? We can't burn them because we basically outlawed burning, right? I mean, they're going to rot, and that's going to create gas, right? I mean, what are we going to do with them? That's just a fact. And then Vian says, exactly, what would you do with all the animals? And then Sharon says they are sent to run wild and are quickly eaten by predators. Actually, Sharon, I think most of them would just die. Because, you know, most of them, they're plain of nutrition, you know, certainly for, you know, the breeds of sheep that I have, except for the Corriedale, you know, the Angora goats. I mean, in the desert, like, there's scrub brush. Oh, the goats would be fine for a little bit. And then they'd run out, then they'd be running into cactus. Right? I mean, it's just like stupid. The whole thing is stupid. And then Melanie says, hoping our new farm bill helps more. I work for the USDA, but on the resources preservation side. The preservation side is my whole thing. Is all about preserving agriculture, and like the fiber arts is the way to get to, because mine specifically obviously is sheep and wool, and the fiber arts industry, and it started out really preserving like the legacy that a lot of microeconomies and microcultures have, in underdeveloped countries, things that we don't even know, that we don't really know. There's a lot of things we don't know. And ways of doing things, different things. And so not just that, but also agriculture is a huge part of it for me, because we know so much that other countries don't know. And there's a lot of things that we could do to help, not just us, because ultimately it does help us. In my mind, is helping other countries or other people, like whether it's Tibet or whether it's in Peru where their sheep suck, right? You're like, they don't all suck, but they don't. I mean, they're good for the environment, but there's better sheep that can survive in that environment. I mean, look at the Falkland Islands, right? But anyway, but in the end, it really does. It serves us well, because our country is always giving everybody money and subsidizing everybody anyway. So why don't we just remember the whole thing? You're like, give him teach him how to fish. That thing, that's it. And then Phineas Pratt goes, all the animals go to a petting zoo, except you can't pet them. I try and pet one of my sheep, and seriously, like it would be a stampede. Yes, Sharon, that's true. There's a nonprofit organization that was created to educate. Yes, and that's true. And I am the director, and I am not on the board. Plants take over and more insects. Very good. That's true. And then Melanie agreed. And then an article about grass-fed beef being the most vegan food you can eat. Oh, it's funny. Are most people? I know that not everybody here is probably a meat eater, but I'm just seeing that there's a lot of people that understand, even if you don't eat meat, that you understand that there's an importance to it. I'm a spinner weaver, but most of our work is soil health based. That's okay. I mean, obviously, it's so nice of me to say that's okay. But that's the thing is that but let's just say right now. I mean, even if people have to agree that wool is the only natural fiber that has true resilience in memory. So let me tell you, I'm down for cotton. I am down for cotton. I love cotton because I can wear it, and it does not, it doesn't itch me. And it's great because, I talked about this in my, what, I love that I don't know the name of my class. What, when, why, how of yarn. Let me say it. That you can have something that's 19 microns or, it's even 16 microns. But if you have, let's just say 0.001% modulated fibers in their hair that doesn't bend, it's going to feel prickly. Just a few 40 micron fibers in there that they didn't get out when they were dehairing it, because those of you who don't know, cashmere's like a downy undercoat of like a German Shepherd. So picture the German Shepherd, those long hairs, especially on the back of their neck, right? So there's really long, and they don't bend. They're very, very stiff, and they're very high micron. So imagine if you had, for every, yard of yarn you had, of even a fingering weight, you had 7 or 8 of those sticking out, right? Or even 2 of those sticking out in a yard of yarn. I mean, suddenly your 16 micron isn't feeling so 16 micron anymore. And all you have to do is have a bad dehairer. And, that's why, China, has a lot of really specialized equipment to do that. Here, in the mills, the smaller mills, I've sent my stuff to many mills, specifically Pygora to have it dehaired, and the hair that you have to keep having it run through, and they charge you every time you run it through. And if you just have a few hairs in there, suddenly there's pointless even having it, because you may as well just wear long wool, because it's going to be itchy. So I do like cotton because there's no chance of that. Right? And then Sharon's saying wool is essential for the military. Yes. And then Paula says, I'm going to keep hoarding wool because I love it. Yes. And the next ice age of my family will be warm. Yes. And then I don't wear wool. Shannon doesn't wear wool, but love working with. I wear the thermal, those socks. Thermal. They're not thermal. What are they? The big, thick wool socks, really thick ones. Those, I wear those. I mean, even in the summer, oddly enough, I still wear them. And then Catherine says, I hate uninformed people, or they're taking away our choices. They are taking away our choices. And I you know what I hate most of all? I hate feeling guilty. This is what I don't like. I don't like when I'm in a place and someone asks me what I do, and I say, actually, I'm a shepherd, and then I'm like I instantly am afraid someone's going to be like, oh, so you like raise sheep? Like, do you keep them confined? How big are their spaces? I mean, really. And like, even here, I feel a little bit like, because my animals are in paddocks. So I only have 5 acres. You're like, wow, we thought you had a vast, no. 5 acres is like 500 acres in, like, I don't know, let's pick something. I don't know, North Dakota, no, probably, I don't know. Somewhere, not here, somewhere in the mid-states. Anyway, it's dead flat, and it's set up for racehorses. So they're like paddocks. And then there's like, you know, the 1/4 acre or 2.5 acre and paddocks. And people, I always get paranoid. And some are in the barn, in the stalls, and then some are in turnouts, and just depends, you know. And I always think people are like, oh, those poor sheep, they don't get to like gallop, right? And so I do point out to people never to feel bad for them, because all they care about is being, I mean, they're not sitting there going, God, if I could only take algebra. Like, you know, people would be sitting there going, God, would somebody just bring me a book, or just someone talk to me, or something? I just want to like stretch my legs. It's not like being in an airplane where like, I mean, I think that's more cool. I'm sorry. But I've been on some of these domestic flights, and I'm like, what happened? Or even like British Air coach. Yes, I actually have to fly coach. Thank you. Unless I upgrade, because, you know, I have miles. And I'm like, this is not, my knee is, I'm 5'7". I have long legs, but my knee is hitting the, whatever that is, the pocket, the seat pocket in front of me, where that. It's not humane. You're like, stop it. It isn't. For like 12 hours, you're like, stop. Is it 12? It is. It's 12. Mary says, so I had someone ask me why I felt it necessary to spin alpaca and wool and allow them to be abused by shearing. How sad that people don't get it. It's necessary to keep them healthy. They don't get it. It's true. They think it's cruel. Right. And so, like, getting a haircut is cruel, and shaving my legs is cruel. Actually, sometimes shaving my legs is cruel, because I've cut myself. In a survival situation, you want. I love that everybody loves wool. You guys are like, wow, we're really going. And then Shannon says, mine would rather be in a barn than out in the pasture. I'm telling you, I tell people the reason why we think that they want pasture is because normally pastures have food in them. Mine are dry lots, which is actually much healthier for them, because I don't have foot rot, and I don't have barber pole, and I don't have parasites, because they don't. That's, the moisture is what helps those sort of things survive. And when you don't have moisture, you don't have those problems. So I have had barber pole because I had irrigated pastures, and I still do have one irrigated pasture because it looks nice, but that was the killer in the grass. I call barber pole killer in the grass. It's Homunculus contortus, for those of you who don't know, and it is a killer. And by the time you know they have it. They're, you know, this is before people, it's widely known now, but before, when my animals transmitted it or got it, it was probably like 2008 before people really knew about it, and they didn't think that camelids got it either. And so, and they believed that, you know, they knew a lot less than they know now. And so now we know how to keep them from getting it. We know, you know, about the wormers that don't work anymore, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, but at that time, you know, by the time you figured out what they had, they were probably not savable. And then Tricia says, it's up to us, as informed fiber lovers, to spread the truth. It's true. And Paul says, I'm a shepherd. What am I supposed to be afraid of? I came in late. Oh, Paul Henry, don't ever come late to class again. Just kidding. Paul Henry, this is the thing. It's the whole assault on wool, and like how, go and look at, I know you don't want to look, but even Duluth, I mean, isn't that like a national treasure? You know, Duluth, trading company, is like bragging about having, you know, non-animal based shearling, which, as you know, is not shearling. Being a shepherd, you're like, really? So polyester isn't shearling. Anyhow, so that's the thing, is that we've been asleep as farmers at the wheel. And we've just we've been letting people assault us on this for like the last 20 years, thinking that they're just stupid and it's never going to take hold. Oh no, it's taking hold. It's totally taking hold. There are so many people that think thinks wool is cruel. Yep, could be an active shoot, yes. But no, they killed there were a bunch of animals in dumpsters. There was some big, you'll have to look that up. I wonder Paul, what kind of sheep do you raise? I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. I'll tell you, I really am in love with it. I am so, as my hands get more arthritic, I am so in love with the teats, that sounds crazy, of corridos. Because they're like cow udders. They're like, the teats are like, you're like doing this thing. You're doing this, not milking cat nipples. And that's a tease water. I'm not kidding you. It is ridiculous. And your hands hurt so bad. You guys are like, stop it. You're like, just leave your glasses on. No, because I can't see this as well. You're like, what, this? So, Diana says she's been using essential oils to control parasites on alpacas. Okay. Anyway, and it is cruel not to milk cows and goats. It is. Cormo don't have wrinkly butts. Okay, then Sharon, then that Cormos are one of them. Just thinking like, yeah, it's the mulesing on the. Okay, so let me talk about this. Okay, so I've been sharing you guys. Okay, oh my God, I'm going to show you one. I'm going to show you some mohair I shared today. And I let them get away, you guys. Some of my fleeces are ruined, not because I left them on too long, but I normally do not have fleece as long as this with mohair, because I usually shear mohair as fast as possible because I'm so terrified it's going to get lice. But like, it is so beautiful. No, seriously. So it's like, I don't know, 6 inches. So it's the silkiest. It is so silky. It smells like dirt. I have like a whole pasture full of, and this is dirty, you guys, it's raw. I have a whole pasture right now full of Angora goats with fleeces that are like this long. It's just like, they run and their fleeces like go like this, and the light the sun shines on them, or the rain, because you guys, we are like, I'm not kidding, I know I've already said it, but it's starting to rain again. And this is so, okay, I still have probably 20, maybe 15 tons of hay right now. And I have this giant tarp, because I don't have like a hay barn, right? So I have this giant tarp that's 20 by 40, 20 feet by 40 feet. It's basically bigger than my house. And I had just unrolled it, because I started with 40 tons under there. And so I've been rolling it back, and then I had like a 40 tons out that I'd have to like piecemeal, not put it all over, you know, like this is just one that covers all of this 40 tons of hay, right? So we got rid of, we ended up feeding all that. We feed about 1,000 pounds a day. And then we're on this one. And so I was like, it's been under this tarp now for, I want to say 2 months, something like that. And so I was like, okay, it's not going to rain. And I rolled it back because it wasn't going to rain. And I rolled it back almost off of all of the hay. And I woke up in the middle of the night. And I'm like, I don't have a fountain near my bedroom window. Why am I hearing a fountain? Like, because you're asleep, right? And I was like, oh my God, it's raining. I'm so pissed off. I mean, I jumped out of that bed. It was like someone had a branding iron and like just like stamped me with it. I jumped out of that bed and I'm like scrambling to grab something so I don't run out naked. And I just like grab a t-shirt and boxer shorts of my husband's and then run down to grab my like coveralls, just throw coveralls on, rubber boots on, and I run out there and I'm just sick. And it's pouring. I don't mean like, it's not like sprinkling, it's pouring. And there was so much of it got wet. It just makes me physically ill. Anyway, so I'm, it's just the way it is. So I'm, you know, then it rained for, I want to say like 5 days, which is fine, but I just have to, you know, I untarped some of it today, and then it started raining to give it air. It's just stupid. It's like, what are you going to do? Let's see. And then, mohair is my porn. I can't believe they're not even like letting you write porn without holding that for review. And, oh, and then Paul says, they get better health care than you. They probably do. And he says, by the way, you can't really keep 40,000 pounds of sheep in an old fence if they don't want to be there. Bingo. Actually, I actually say, because I weigh like right now I'm a little light, maybe 118, right? And so I was moving a bunch of rams out because I still have some rams in that are they're like yearlings now, and they're in with these mothers and their babies, and I don't want them to have the food that the mothers and babies are having, but I've been so busy I haven't been able to move them out, and the mothers are having babies now, and so I didn't want them. They're also crowding the shelter because there's shelter, and so I'm dragging them out. You know, the dog's holding them. I'm dragging them out and pulling them, and I have to pull them to another pen. These rams, and there's like 6 of them. And I have these. I look over, and there's like these Airbnb people watching me, but it looks like because I'm dragging them. Let me just tell you something. If they lay down, which they do, people who raise sheep know, they just go, you know what? Fuck off. I'm going to just die because I think you're killing me. So I'm just going to lay down. I just drag them because they're wearing blankets, windbreakers. So, and it's slick. So I just start dragging them. And so, I mean, the sheep could be like 200 pounds. And I'm literally just dragging it. And it occurred to me, these people probably think I'm so mean. Like, but the sheep is just laying there as I'm dragging it with a halter. It's got a halter on, I'm pulling it. And so I look over at him and I'm completely exhausted, right? I'm like, right? And so I look at him and I go, by the way, just to let you know, I know this looks really horrible, but the sheep literally, all it would have to do is just get up and like, pull one way and then jerk back the other way, and I mean the chances of me being able to hang on to it to a nylon rope are like probably 0. The only way I can do it is it's finesse. There's zero way that I'm going to like strength a ram, an adult ram. There's just no way. And I moved like 4 adult rams and like I want to say 5 yearlings, and all pretty much that way because they're just like, you know what, I don't want to go. I'm pulling them away from their girlfriends. They don't know where they're going. Even though it's right next door, their mind isn't like, oh, she's just taking me right there and I see my friends. They don't think that. By the time I've got them to the gate, they see their friends. And then they're like, oh, this isn't so bad. My friends are right there. But I'm not kidding you. Like, it's like, but you can't, there's no way if they really wanted to get away that there's anything I could do. The dogs, on the other hand, now that's another story. But, you know, the dogs are, when I have them in my hand, I don't want the dogs, I tell them lie down, because, not that they always do, but I tell them not to lie down, because if they hit, meaning bite, the sheep while I'm holding on to it, then it does fly forward, usually into me, and it takes my legs out from underneath me. Then it's just a rodeo from there. Okay, let's see. I'm reading. And Paul says, I found your site looking for information on Angoras. I'm looking to get into fiber goats as well. Angoras are beautiful, but I'll tell you, they have a high plane of nutrition, and it was really hard for me to believe this. Because I'm like, nothing has a higher plane of nutrition than a racehorse. Oh no. Yeah. And then Trishy's saying, telling Paul that the many retailers have banned mohair, thanks to PETA. And then, what do I pay a ton, Sharon? I would be paying $265 a ton if I was paying retail, but I'm not. Because I just sleep with the guy. Just kidding. That's a joke. Because I still have hay left over from the pervert that I had to anyway. Okay. And then Vienne says, one of Glass Farms, I really think, I'm telling you, there are not, farming in California, they don't want farming here. You guys think I'm lying. But I'm telling you, that even means it's that much more important to have it here. I mean, I'm not, I'm going to tell you right now, when I have this friend that was like, getting into farming, just vegetables or whatever. I think I talked about this. And not vegetables, but trees and lemon trees. I was like, telling me that they're going to make money. I'm like, you are not going to make money. That is the worst reason. I've said it many times, so I'm not like saying it. I was like, that is the worst reason to go into farming. It does not pencil. And so why would anybody do it if it doesn't pencil? It really is a love, and it's a cash flow thing where you are actually in the negative, but you have cash coming in and then you use credit cards. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry to say I don't know a lot of farmers except for the alfalfa growers, which I've talked about before. Shame on you. Kidding. Not really. That are driving around in, BMWs and, etc. You have to have another source of income, right? That's where porn comes in. I could do a whole calendar on him where he's laying naked. You know how he's like sunning his nuts, except he doesn't have any nuts. But anyway, they would be nuts, except it's now a cod. That's what we call it on, you guys know that. It's cod when it's empty on a steer. The cod, where the skin is of the sack where it used to have. You're like, we got it. Where there were nuts, there's no longer nuts. We could just put little, oh, don't they do that on some dogs? They put like prosthetic, yeah, testes in there. No, yes, I think they do. Okay, let's see. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about this yarn thing, and I'm going to give you guys the pattern because we're going to do a knit along for the sweater. Damn it. Now that you guys are knitting, would anybody like a piece of fruit? It's black, but the inside's delicious. And my swatch that I knit, my swatch today, you're like, okay, I was late for many reasons. One of which was I could not find my swatch because it fell on the floor. So I made my swatch. It's so good. It's really good. You're like, and this is probably all that'll ever do on this sweater. I won't. No, we're going to do the sweater together, you guys. I'm not sure when we're going to start it, but we're definitely going to do it. So what I did, I'm moving on. Transition, everybody, transition to now fiber. You're like, wow, thank you. Because you do talk about, that we're going to talk about fiber. When is that going to happen? You guys, my life was falling apart. It wasn't falling apart. That was my story. Oh my God, Jenny, I didn't tell her. You know when someone's not a knitter and handballs your yarn. It is stretched to the max. When I handball my yarn, I love it. I put it next to my nipple and I say, I love you. But anyway, it's stretched to the max, so I'm going to have to reball it. Oh my God, it's like a strangled. Anyway, Jenny's probably thinking, could you just be appreciative? So like it's a gradient, right? This was, some of the yarn was the one that I was going to use for the other sweater, see? And I dyed the gradients, and there's more. But what I did then is I took all the colors of the gradient and with blue and green and did it in a yarn with, it doesn't see, you can't see it. You're like, you could have left it in skein form. And this one has, do you see a little bit of blue in here? Okay, I'm going to give you guys, this is a free pattern, by the way. I'm going to tell you the pattern. You can look it up. It is called Twisted, hang on. Of course it's called Twisted. It's called Twisted V1, Twisted dash V pullover, Alice, okay, I'm going to butcher this name. Halbeisen, Halbeisen. I'm putting this in the, it's Twisted V pullover. So why do I like it? Because it's fitted. Let me see if I can, I actually have a picture of it in here. I was completely prepared and then somebody took it. I'm going to turn this around. I can't turn it around. I really want to show you. It's from Knitting Daily. I found it on Knitting Daily. So Twisted V pullover, Alice, Halbeisen, and it was Interweave 2009, originally published in Simple Style. I love V-necks. Not everybody does. I love them. And I like specifically deep V's. Oh, and then Allison says, I don't know about, well, why can't you guys just do that? Then you guys can do the Igawa one. God, you guys are so difficult. It's a good sweater. It's not, you don't have to make it super fitted, I don't think. But what I like about it is, well, I like that it goes like this. Like, so this one part, so this sides come up into a V right here. Right? So it's very bust, like, I don't know, like it contours. And then you can make, I like super deep V's because I like to dress slutty. Yes. It's not appropriate. It doesn't mean I don't like to do it. I do a lot of adult time, you guys, at home. You guys should see some of the stuff I buy. I call my quinceañera dresses. I should actually bring some of them out here and show you guys. Not this time. Actually, next week I'm going to. Actually, I should wear one. You guys, you would laugh so hard. It's hard not to laugh. Like, so Jade went to Goodwill with me one time. She's went several times. But this one time, and there's this dress that was by this designer. Amazing dress. And I put it on, and it totally looks like a quinceañera dress. I am so in love with it. And so I wanted to wear it like, you know, frisky time with my husband, and I wear it with stilettos, and it's pretty, but it is for like 15-year-olds. Not for somebody who's 56, but I was like, Sean, I want to show you my new favorite dress. And I actually got embarrassed because it's obviously several decades too young for me. but it was so hot, and I thought he was going to laugh and be like, oh, because it's actually got like, is it toile, the stuff underneath that makes it like puff out? Like, looks like a ice skating / quinceanera is what it looks like. This one, there's 2 of them. Then there's a red one, same stuff. Jenny was like, oh my God, Natalie, you absolutely have to buy that dress. And she said, and I'm going to have, but it has to be like, I'm going to be able to borrow it from you, right? Like, this is how much she liked it. And but you guys, when you see them, you're going to be like, okay, when is she putting on her ice skates and going for the gold? like it really is that. Or she's finally, it's going to be her, she's turning 15. Is quinceanera, it's 15, but are you turning 16 and coming out of it, or turning 15? I guess it would be 15. You're like, don't be stupid. I can't help myself. I am sometimes not very bright. Okay, let's see. So held for review. You guys can do a different one. You don't have to do this one. Whoops, I keep trying to like show, and I'll do that one. Okay, Denise Pratt will do it. Okay, good. You're gonna have to send me your phone number just in case I get stuck on something. Is that okay? Can you do that? Okay, and then what? Trishy, you missed the hat knit along. We haven't even knit the hat yet. We're doing the hat tomorrow. We're starting tomorrow. The hat didn't finish. And then Trishy's like, oh, okay. She like jumped the gun. So anyway, I think the reason why I think I like the sweater because they have you use a bigger needle, the first section of it. And I think that helps it. And then it comes in it. And I kind of like that because, you guys, I know that despite the fact that I'm thin, I don't have a very small waist. And why is that? I would call it genetics and 5 children. So, yeah, my waist isn't super tiny. And, like, Jenny is so minuscule. And, like, she tries to tell me that you guys are like, what size bra do you wear? Well, I'll tell you. She wears like a 34, and then she's like, you wear a 34, and I was like, you could not get after dragging sheep around for like 15 years, there's no way. No, I'm like a 36, like solid 36, like solid. I was like, we just don't give a shit. Stop telling us your bra size. It feels weird and uncomfortable, and I feel like you're sexually harassing us. I am. Okay, so let's see. Other than that, is there anything else thrilling? I do want to show you. Okay, you guys, I really this yarn. I want to make something out of this, but I told you I don't. It's not, these are 2 different yarns, but it's the glaze, it's glazed. So I'm telling you, so glazed is the overdye, and the overdye makes it iridescent, but it doesn't pick up very well in photographs or in online. I don't know, can you guys see it's iridescent? Let me, I don't know if you can. And if Sean was here, he would do his great camera work. I can't see shit because I don't have my glasses on. So here's one of them. See, it's like different colors. You see underneath, there's like green underneath that purple. Okay, do you see it kind of? No, yes. And then this one has like kind of the same, not kind of, it is the same thing. It has like different colors underneath that you can see in like real life. You're like, that's such a, what a racket that is. Oh yeah, my yarn's really beautiful. You just can't see it. You guys are like, don't be ridiculous, Natalie. Okay, so listen, I'm telling you, next week, we're doing this. See, you can kind of see that underneath it has different colors. And then Patty says sweater knitting, she's in. Okay, cool. And she's, Carly's, okay, good. You guys are all, okay, Ellie helped to make it even, son recovering from, ew, that's sad. No, 2 near death bottle left. I know the tubing never ends here. I always have, literally, that's like on my counter is like empty beer bottles, no full ones that are about to be empty, and tubes and like the giant, 60cc syringes. Okay, Carly wants to do it, and Shannon wants to do it, Liz wants to do it, and then how will you work on the sheep pattern on the hat? I know. Are we changing colors to make the sheep? No, we're moving on. I'm not doing a sheep pattern hat. I'm doing the one that you guys are doing. I made the yarn. I made the yarn with, I actually did a more traditional one, a traditional yarn. It's not traditional. It's kind of like, it's like a woolen, but it's not. It's like a semi-worsted. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing for that one. And then I really want to do this sweater because it's simple and I've knit several sweaters and they're all simple. I just don't have the patience, you guys. I just don't. Okay, that's a story. That's a story that I'm saying, and the old Natalie would say that, and the new Natalie would say, I'm open to the possibility of anything. Like I could actually, so what I would say the limiting factors are that time would be one, and that a lot of the time when I'm knitting, I'm actually probably very tired. And so tired, and is that a moth? Asshole. Hang on, hang on. Well, it's not a moth anymore. That's when you take a flea bomb and you flea bomb the entire building. It's so big. It's all of 22 feet long. And like 16 feet wide? I don't know. Well, one less moth in the world. Oh, you're such a dork. I am a dork. Glaze is my jam. What? Glaze is my jam? Wait. Is my jam... Glaze is my jam. I'm a glaze fiend. Okay, that's funny. You guys can see it. Sunshine will make it glow beautifully. Sunny, thank you. Sony. Could you say my name right? I'm so sorry. I can't even say my name right. I could say Natalie, and it's not. It's Natalie. Okay, and you guys can see it good. Let's effing do this. Amber's like, let's effing. Okay, she's like, let's be like Charlie's Angels of like the sweaters, right? Let's like rock the sweater. You guys, the sweater's so freaking easy. And like, there's one of the reasons I want to do the smaller sweater, the sweater that's fitted, is because it's smaller. In other words, it won't take as long. And it's in a bigger needle size. Although I did have to drop a needle. And so 7, you start on 7. I have to start on 6. But I'm really being conscious, you guys, of not pulling my needles away. Like so I'm really being conscious to keep my needles tight, to not stretch my yarn. I'll knit a sweater too, but I'm going to find a pattern with less rib. Oh, did you finish the... No, I didn't finish the Yagawa, but you know why? Because I don't want to do the Yagawa without someone doing it with me because it's so frustrating. I mean, I started 13 times, Allison. And I really needed to have somebody... What I needed is well, this is the thing, is that Pat Henley says that she's going to come here. I said she can stay for free at my Airbnb, and she can... she's doing the Master Knitter program. Not that, not that I think a master knitter needs... You don't need to be a master knitter to do this, but she has so many tricks up her sleeve to like fix the problems that she even started it and solve the problems that I saw. I just didn't realize that they were problems. Not problems like errata, but the way that she decided to do like both certain things like her increases, and then also her short rows made the stitches look really bad. They look like mistakes. It looked like you after your stitches up. Because some of them didn't look messed up. Some of if it was a pattern and you could see it consistently, it would look normal. But it was like some of them looked really bad and some of them didn't look bad. And it had to do with the way that she was doing it. So my point is that because I kept thinking that my ADHD was kicking in and I was doing it stupidly. I was doing stupid things, even though I was really trying to concentrate by the 13th time. Because it wasn't all on the same day, by the way. And then she said, no, I cast it on once, started knitting it, and was like, no, this isn't right. And then she explained to me what to do, but that was 6 weeks ago. Yes, I wrote it somewhere in my notes, but I just need someone. I think we would have to all do it together and have her, I'd have to pay her, which I wouldn't mind doing, by the way. If we did it, we could do it, and I could just pay her to like talk about the pattern. Maybe that, okay, let's do this. Let's do a simple one like this one, even if you don't want to do the rib, because there is a lot of ribbing in it. But, a lot of people aren't into that. So, but let's just talk about that. Let's get this one done and then move on to this one that looks really simple, but actually there are some things in it that are making it not so simple. And then if we have at least 15 people, I'll say 15 people, 12 people. I will pay her with my own money. You guys don't have to pay anything, but I'll pay her to do a live stream with us. And then she'll go over what she says. This is how you do your short rows. This is how you do, right? And so we'll get the Igawa done. So you guys will buy the pattern. I will pay. I don't get any money for the pattern, by the way. I just said I don't like people sharing the pattern because without the lady making money, whoever, this woman, Junko Akamoto, because it's just right. I'm just fair, right? But I will then, if you guys do that, I will pay to have Pat Henley come on and live stream with us and then just tell us all the 411 on the pattern. And then Patty says she got the Agawa. Okay, cool. Oh, and then Sony saying, well, for some of us it will take longer, just saying more yarn. Okay, well, but some of you maybe are faster knitters. And then Allison says she's on board. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about a date, because I, did not keep the last one. So let's go ahead and make another thing that I can't keep. Okay, we're going to do this hat. I'm going to say, in my mind, let's start, because we are all going to want to find, I think we should be able to start this by April 2nd. We should be able to start this next project because we'll have a little breathing time. And then this next project, meaning a simple sweater. So what I could do is I could put, I think everybody should be, what we could do is we could, on Ready Method, everybody add what sweater they think is simple, that's free. It would have to be a free pattern if you're going to put it up. If you're going to put it up on Ready Method, or unless you're the designer of it, right? So, and that way we'll have like a file, and the file will have a bunch of different choices for people that are simple sweaters, either crew neck or V-neck, and that people know are simple enough for it to be simpler than the Igawa. And then we'll take, let's say, we'll give ourselves 6 weeks, right? Everybody think that's enough? We can talk about that. 6 weeks to do this simple sweater. 4 weeks? Does anybody have an idea of what we should do? Let's see. I've been knitting and purling mofo. Okay, that's all I can do. Amber, if you can knit and purl, baby, you can do it all. Okay, Kristen's saying I'm knitting the Like a Cloud, and I'm also a slow knitter. Okay, Amber, if you can knit and purl, I know you all. That's all you need. I'll live vicariously through for the knit along. Okay, wait. So I need to know what people think is a reasonable amount of time right now to finish this simple sweater. Whether you do like the one I'm doing or the one, whatever one you pick. Maybe 6 weeks. And then we need a couple week, 3 week break or something to do the Igawa. 4 week break. I don't know. 6 weeks. Okay, Jan says 6. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start in my mind, April 2nd. We're going to have 6 weeks. I'm going to start a thread, or Trishy, or actually it would be great if Kristen and Trishy started a file folder and then we start adding to that file folder of simple sweaters for the April 2nd 6 week knit along of the simple sweater. I'm really excited about this. I can do another, we can talk about what you guys think. If I can do something to facilitate to help this, I can teach you, I don't know, what could I teach you? I'm trying to think, because I'd like to help, I want people to be able to dye their own yarns really, but I can't really give you all my information for free, but I can give you some. So I don't mind doing that. So if someone needs some help, because I think you should dye your own yarn. It makes it so much more fun, you guys, if you dye your own yarn, then you're knitting your own yarn. And I'm telling you, it's actually in the long run cheaper. And you're going to get the exact yarn you want. And then Valerie, cheater. You're not a cheater, I'm teasing. She goes, I'll make one for my grandson. Is he like a size, quadruple lot? 4 weeks is average for me to knit a sweater. Okay, so we're going to go 6 weeks. For slow knitters, we're going to do 6 weeks. Patty Van Gordon, thank you very much. And Amber says 4 weeks, how long each day? I don't think you do it each day. I think I did a sweater. I'm not shitting you. I actually spun the yarn. I spun linen yarn. I told you it was a weird blend. It was like linen and wool. It was weird. And it was bulky, granted. And I can't remember what size needle it was. It was bigger than a 10. It was bigger than a 10. And I did it in a day. I'm not shitting you. And you did like a 3 needle bind off, and you did, it was simple V-neck. It wasn't a day, like 6 hours a day. It was like 14 hours of knitting. I'm not lying. There's no lie in this. But I didn't have to read the pattern. I had the pattern memorized because I had made it a couple of them. So it was like, it was just like, it was easy. Sharon's saying, well, I'm going to be using DK weight on this one. And then... He's 2. How cute. I know, Teresa. Mine does 2. And you end up with 800 and finished. What if you make it, Teresa? Oh God. You guys, it's supposed to. Can we just grow in Yarnitarian? Because I'm trying to, even though some people aren't into it, not into growth, but into my talking about growth, because it makes some people uncomfortable, and I'm okay with that. Like, I actually finally am at the place where if you think that, like, if the way that I am and talking about life in general, it's not all about knitting. I can't talk all about knitting and yarn because I have other like my sheep, I have everything I do is about fiber. Everything, literally, go in my house and the thing will start. That's what you hear, blah, because it's the lamb's in there, right? So but mine, because everything is fiber, I don't just have one thing that I can focus on ever, because there's so much more than just knitting and just yarn. Because how did it get to be yarn, right? Right? It really is. My whole life is about fiber. It truly is. Go look at my toothbrush, and I guarantee you're going to be pulling like something off of it that has to do with yarn. Okay, Valerie, here's another. Is this another one? Is a very easy sweater. Okay. Okay, Valerie, let's see this one. I'm pulling this one up. Okay, nutmeg. Actually, nutmeg looks really easy. You guys, here's one that's not too sexy. It's 7 wraps per inch, bulky. Jennifer Stark's Ravelry store. And this is a free Ravelry download. Good job. Okay, actually, I'm afraid I'm going to take a screenshot of this so that I don't. You guys, this is a good one. This is a good one. And then Shannon says, I love everything you talk to us about. I sometimes don't. I go, okay, Natalie, you could have left that out, which is probably half of the programming. Lambs in my bathroom, heated floors. That actually could be a song. Lambs in my bathroom. Lambs in my bathroom. Or is that doggy in the window? My blind lamb is dead. And there's a story about that. Now we need to sell with lots of yarn. Actually, I can do that. Challenge accepted, Amber Pilkington. Nurtured sweaters, a slight crop and heavier yarn, and may make you save time. Super cute. Okay, well, maybe, is that a buy one? Well, I mean, you guys can buy the pattern, obviously, a pattern. I'm just saying that for those of people that don't, there's plenty of online that we can find that are really good. And then Valerie says that she's made 4. She's wearing one of them now, a crop. Oh, look at the bust. Oh, my God. The Shalom is a bulky short sleeve. I could not wear a short sleeve. Nat, I've been watching you for years. I love how much you share about yourself, Paula. Yeah, I do too. A lot of my friends don't like it. Well, a lot of my friends, all one of them. But seriously, like people, I can't remember, was it Trishy? Trishy does. She goes, okay, Natalie, I'm going to tell you something. Please don't share this. Please don't share this on Yarnitarian. I'm like, okay, I understand, but like the stuff, if most of the time I'm sharing stuff about other people that I don't think is like too personal. Right? Although except about Jenny, because she's pretty lighthearted about it. But, myself, I mean, I share about, like, I just, why? Because it might help somebody. It's going to irritate 5, but it's going to help 1. It's sort of that prison thought. If 4 people go free, no. Wait, what is it? It's better to have 4 guilty people go free than 1 innocent person be convicted. You're like, wow, you're really on your game tonight. I'm not. Could somebody please put a straw in my head and suck out all of the air? No. Because then there would be nothing left. Just kidding. Okay. Please tell us about your blind lamb. Okay, so I had a blind lamb. And okay, I'll just tell you this is what happened. This is what happened. The blind lamb, I was at Stitches. The blind lamb, and it has a friend, Pearl, and she is alive. And what happened is nobody wants to stress me out when I'm at Stitches. And so I knew an order of, this is another sidebar, is I knew an order of guinea hens was coming. And I said, February 22nd, guinea hens are coming. 25 of the little guinea keats. And so that means that, people kind of know the routine. You got to, make sure because the thing has been sitting without birds in it for like the last 8 weeks since I got the last round of birds, and you have to disinfect everything, and because the disease, even it's the dander too, like diseases everywhere, because birds in the ethos are like, it's the same diseases they get that they give to other, and the chicks can't handle it, right? So and it's in all the lights and everything needs to be set up, and then they know that they have to get up and feed the lambs like every 4 hours, really is what has to happen. And so anyway, they don't bother me while I'm at Stitches until it was on Sunday, and my husband said, oh, by the way, the lambs are stupid, man, they're not eating very well anymore. And I said, they're not eating well anymore? They're only like 6 days old, right? And I said, they have pneumonia. They need antibiotics right now. How long have they not been eating well? A couple of days. Well, by a couple of days, a lamb that age, if they have pneumonia, but if anybody would have told me, but they don't want to freak me out or they don't want to bother me, so, and I'm working. It's not like we're talking on the phone a couple of times a day and they didn't tell me. They didn't tell me because we don't talk on the phone. So that, like, if they write me about something, like, it better be important because I'm working. When I'm working, I'm working. Like, I'm not on my phone and like Stitches is paying me, or you have me, host a retreat for me, and I'm like on my phone, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like I'm a little, like I don't talk to my husband. No, I'm like all business, right? So I tell him, you've got to give them penicillin right now, and he's like, well, you're going to be home tonight, but I'm not going to argue with him about it. It's not his responsibility. I mean, it is in that moment, but it's true. I'm going to be home in like 5 hours, right? But still, you don't know if is that the 5 hours where they won't get better. So I got home and I went to, and you know that when the lambs, because what happens is when they have pneumonia, they go to drink and the volume in their gut pushes on their lungs. So they really can't breathe. So they act like they want to suckle and they'll get just a little bit in and then they won't suckle anymore because they can't breathe now and they're breathing but if you don't know, like if you've worked in like neonatal intensive care, you can see that little, that's like it's like the grunting, that's like the grunts, like the breath is grunty. It's like they don't really make a sound, but it's, and you see that it's like very shallow, very shallow. So you know, right? I would know immediately if they're drinking strong yesterday and the day before and now they're not, that's a problem, right? And then you know, and one of the things that I do is I'll put my hand like on their throat right here, and then when they have pneumonia, they like really do like this. And if they don't, they just don't like it. They just don't like having their neck touched, but they don't like so anyhow, so that what happened was they had pneumonia, and so I got home, and the one I said I don't think either of these lambs are going to make it. I said somebody needed to tell me. Somebody needed to tell me. But they're not the ones, you know, it takes a lot of experience, you guys. Raising sheep just takes, it's not their fault. It takes the guinea hens, I'm going to blame on them. Because all of those died except for 2 of them because they didn't bleach the thing. They put fresh shavings in it, they put the lights in it and everything. But after, a couple days, it's just, you have to be very, raising animals, especially poultry, has to be all in, all out, and completely disinfected, because almost everything that they get is, they can resolve it, they can't resolve everything, but when they do resolve it, they're going to be carriers for life. So you have to do all in, all out, and you have to disinfect really, really well, like bleach, and then like even I have oxine foggers. And with the sheep, that was one that they didn't know. And so anyway, now she died, but the other one I saved. And I'm telling you, the other one, it was to the point where the next day, like I gave it antibiotics, because what happens if they get that sick, the antibiotics will kill them because they don't have very much body weight. And they're not able to, like, if you're going to give medications, then you also have to give them a lot of fluids, because they've got to be able to metabolize, right? And rather than it's just like, they have no body weight and they have, no fluids in them because they can't drink, because every time they drink, they're suffocating. It's really crazy, but this is stuff that's come for me with 15 years, and nobody else has to ever do it except if I'm not here, which isn't very often. It's often, and it's often when I'm teaching and traveling, but it's not often that that they're sick. I would usually know, but I was gone for 5 days, and that's long enough for one to get pneumonia, and then it's just the whole thing's bad. But Pearl is amazing. She's fine, and she's going to go to Huntington Beach with Jenny for at least a week, which will be good. I think it's nice. It's good. It's just good for her. And then people see lambs. It's just part of this whole like outreach. Huntington Beach is like, it's part of LA essentially. It's Orange County, but it's like very populated. If those of you who you couldn't even imagine how busy Southern California is. And when I say that, I mean from Los Angeles to San Diego. I mean, it's just populous. It's just so populated, you just can't believe it. The density of the population. I think LA have 10 million people in it. It's like insane. And Orange County is attached to Los Angeles, essentially. You don't even know that you're going from one city to the next. It's like one city. You think you're in one city, but then you're just like, oh, welcome to Orange County. And then you're like Huntington, Long Beach, Huntington Beach, Newport, however it works. Somewhere in there. Those are in there. I just don't know what order they're in. Anyway, okay, I'm going, you guys, so don't forget. So we're going to start, I'm going to talk to, it's going to have to be Kristen and Trishy putting the file up. And then we're going to start having to add to it. I can add this one or send this one to them to add, because I've really got to share, you guys. I'm not kidding you. If you saw how bad my animals, so many of my fluces are ruined. They're just ruined, and then there's just babies dropping everywhere. It's like there's raining babies, and they're all like. I have a lot of young mothers because I did a lot of replacements. So those of you who don't know, you replace the ewes. The older ewes are so good at taking care of babies, and they usually are really good at nursing and really good at just everything. Well, you eventually have to replace them. So I did a lot of replacing them with their progeny last year, or the year before. So I have a lot of new mothers, and the new mothers are just stupid. I am sorry. But a lot of them, their babies are tiny, and, you know, they're like, you know, some of them are just like, oh, I'm going to have a baby right in the water. Well, there's a dead baby, because, you know, you can't have it in the water, expect it to live. They think that they're going off away from the flock, and they just like, I mean, it's like, stop it. Strangle you with my lips. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That's why he doesn't mind. Anyway, so I'm going to see you guys next week for sure. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. Those of you who are going to be in the knit along for that, because we're going to start. I love you guys so much. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys. I really do. You make me feel really good. You make me feel so good. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. Sounds like I'm being sarcastic, and I'm not. But you guys are amazing, and have a great night, and have a great the rest of your week, and have a great weekend. For those of you, tomorrow, 11 o'clock, Be It Ready Method, facebook.com/groups/Ready Method. We'll see you. Bye, everybody. Love you. Amazing people.